Before we get started tonight, ladies and gentlemen, no episode here, Fast Break for IE Sports Radio. I want to talk to y'all about the last 8 years for the network. For the last 8 years, IE Sports Radio has been bringing you amazing content ranging from interviewing legendary athletes to building tailor-made shows dedicated to all major sports cities around the country. All the while, we have been continuing to be by the fans, for the fans, and with your help, we're ready to take the next step. When you go to our website, iesportsradio.com, you'll see our Patreon link with 5 different tiers. The first one starting at just $5 a month. This donation gets you all shout-outs on our 32 shows. Higher tiers include IE Sports Radio merchandise, access to our podcasting university, and even a chance to be featured on a segment show, The Defining Moment. Thank you all for continuing to make IE Sports Radio direct for you for that as all sports. We have 4 Patreon supporters: Bay Area Rays, Marcus, Los, Great, Key to the Gate, and Anonymous. Thank you for everyone making 8 years special at the network, and here's for many more years to come. Now on to the show. Oh, Draymond. We'll talk about the punch heard around the world for today. Draymond punching Jabari Poole at practice. We'll discuss that, how they got leaked like that, all that good stuff, and what's in store for Draymond for the future. Plus, we preview the Southwest Division in our NBA preview series. Can the Dallas Mavericks make it back to the Western Conference Finals after some of the additions they made? Will the Memphis Grizzlies continue to make the next step? Or are they bound for a little hiccup? The San Antonio Spurs, where are they going in the future? Are they tanking? Or they got surprise run in them? The Pelicans, one word, Zion. Is he healthy? Is he ready to go? And can this team be consistent with all the injuries that been happening with them? And finally, the Houston Rockets. Can Jalen Green and Jabari Smith be the future for the franchise? We'll discuss that and much more here on Fast Break, live on IE Sports Radio. Your direct feed for that is all in sports. And you're welcome to join us. And joining us as you shout tonight, ladies and gentlemen. Lots of things to talk about, lots to get into on this wonderful October 9th day. D-Lock, how you doing tonight, sir?
I'm doing pretty good, man. Pretty decent day in sports all around. Beginning with football, and now we still have basketball. We got one more game football, but we got tons of basketball tonight. We got a couple of preseason games, and then we should be good to go for the season. But Zion is playing tonight, so that is making it very interesting already.
Yes, we got preseason ball going on right now, and I think that's kind of been overshadowed what's going on, what happened in Golden State. Let's hop on into it. Here at practice a couple days ago for the Warriors, Draymond Green and Jordan Poole had a tussle. Draymond Green chose to really stuck Jordan Poole. Now, we wouldn't know about this, if it kept behind closed doors and all that good stuff, D-Lock. But we're in the year 2022. And with all technology and all that stuff and people looking out for their own selves and all that good stuff, no code of honor, all that, no honor among thieves, it got leaked. And the video made it perfectly clear that there were some issues going on. When you first saw the video, D-Lock, Draymond striking Jordan Poole and all that stuff, what are your thoughts going through your head when we saw that video and stuff like that, and then the reaction afterwards? What are your thoughts on everything that has transpired up till now?
Well, the biggest thing for me was, the first thing I thought was, why in the hell would Jordan Poole let him walk up on him like that? A lot of people, I think, we talked about it, I think people say, well, he wouldn't expect Green to hand up. True, understand. But it was just so in that personal space, that we don't often see somebody just come into your space. And I mean, personal space is probably within 5 feet of each other. So for me, it was like, damn, like, why in the hell would you let somebody come that close to you? So for me, that was the biggest thing that played a part. It had me thinking like, damn, okay, well, yeah, you clearly see this. You gonna just let this man come up, and just invade your spot. So that's my first initial thought. Second was, okay, was it that what was said, for Draymond to want to walk up into his face and that close. So for me, I just thought it was very intriguing. I thought that was confusing. And even now, like I said, just something that had me kind of shocked on how that went down. I've heard many people say different things about it, but I feel the same way as far as saying, listen, dude, like if that happens with me, me and that person will have to. Me and Dre won't be fighting damn near every day, because ain't no way you should have come out there, and just step up in my face like that. So I just felt like that was one thing that was very, very strange. And to go with somebody you just won a title with. You know what I'm saying? Like, it ain't like y'all had a terrible season, y'all had bad history, but a team that just won the NBA Finals, you got this going on in y'all locker room, I felt like, or even at practice, I felt like there had to be a lot going on for that to happen. So I felt like that was just out of line, especially on Draymond's part. Now, clearly the push was, what took him over the edge. But what got him there is the question, to react like that. Now, we did do some reviews and heard some things, but for it to be that serious, I think there could possibly still be more to the story. And I think we'll continue to find out more. But that was just outrageous, man, to me.
I think for me, it's just, and I can go to the Athletic and pull up the story. But my first initial thoughts was, it's like, dude, at practice, and we kind of have seen Draymond over the course of the years as he got more of a bigger voice, here through the airways and all that stuff, that he really has no chill about him. No, like, kind of take a step back and stuff like that. He's real confrontational. We seen it, when we talk about the Kevin Durant situation and all that stuff. We seen it, talk about that. How he acts around the organization. And all that type of stuff. It just really, 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 not a good look for him. Mind you, granted, yes, he won the championship. They won the championship. But what's one thing we kind of talked about on this show here? The rise of Jordan Poole and Draymond's kind of diminished value. And at times during that finals, it's like, yeah, Draymond played pretty well. But other times, it's like, especially on offense, you playing 4-on-5. And kind of kept Boston alive in that series at certain points. And I think it wasn't for Steph Curry playing well throughout the whole series. He's singing a different tune about how that series goes. And possibly different tune will happen with Ime Udoka as well. Just butterfly effect of things. But going back to what I said about borrowed time. And I said this months ago. Y'all can go back and play this. The Warriors have found themselves in a unique situation that they can still contend, but kind of rebuild under the same time. What I mean by that, them having a bad record, also, trading Ray D'Angelo Russell for Andrew Wiggins, got them another pick that kind of helped them retool for a little bit under the sky as a rebuild. And now you got these young guys like a Jordan Poole, Jonathan Kuminga, Moses Moody, James Wiseman, under your umbrella branch that could keep your franchise in winning contention for years to come. And when we get to preview the Pacific Division, one of my guys I want to keep an eye on for the Warriors is Jonathan Kuminga. You talking about a versatile forward that can guard multiple positions, maybe 1 through 5 if you go to a really small lineup and stuff like that. And we heard stories about people in jobs. You bring somebody in that you got to train somebody for your job, they might let you go. I'm looking at Jonathan Kuminga, and he may, if he plays well this season, the Warriors can try to offload Draymond elsewhere. And by him doing this, D-Lock, did not do him any favors. It's not gonna work. It's not helping yourself. You want to talk about trying to get a contract extension and all that stuff? Doing stuff like this is not going to help your cause. It's not.
It definitely isn't.
And I know the Warriors are up against the tax and stuff like that. If Draymond, is like a one-trick pony and stuff like that, they can easily get rid of him. And they can figure themselves on, it's like, we got all these young guys here, so we don't need them. And he's not worth the headache anymore. They got another potential all-star in Jordan Poole. He's really come to his own. We'll see if he can keep it up this year. But you know what all this stemmed from, D-Lock? I guess allegedly, Jordan Poole, I guess, was just kind of just ragging on by his contract extension, potential contract extension. And I guess once he gets the money, he's going to have a pool at his house. and he would call the pool the Jordan Poole. He'll invite everybody there and all that stuff. Long story short, I guess Draymond got tired of hearing that. They had words of practice, and that's what we saw. What we saw at the practice. Now
he felt some type of way.
He felt some type of way. So I don't know, if it was like a money thing or whatnot, but that's where everything kind of stemmed from. Could have been deeper issues, maybe so. But I think the bigger issue in which the Warriors are looking at, how did this get leaked to TMZ? And I want to get your thoughts on this. I know these teams record practice and stuff like that. Just go back and look at things. But you got to have a tighter ship than this. Than TMZ get this. And I don't know who leaked it. What intern, whatever video person leaked this. But that's a sucker stuff right there. I couldn't do.
Yeah, to leak something that you go out. You already know how big this is, right? We're hearing about what apparently happened at practice. At the time, it wasn't necessarily put out there. A few speculations, from all over. But knowing that we know the history of TMZ. TMZ know everything before shit happens. Usually, that's what they know. They probably ship out all kinds of money to be the first person to literally. They want to be the first people to leak out any type of news, whether it's good or bad or whatever. And that's how they make their money. So they ship out money to make money. Now, we see, people, and I always wonder, how do some of these people know exactly what celebrities are, what stores they're going to, how are they so close to them? Some of this stuff, this is literally their lives. They gotta be making a lot of money to do this. But for somebody to know how big this information is, to go to TMZ and say, hey, okay, I got this video, boom, I'm gonna leak this to you. Like you said, that was a terrible move. And it seems like something that they wanted to make a quick dollar off of. Now, granted, I'm pretty sure you've had people saying, okay, hey, you know what? If this does leak out, a quick dollar could be made, which ended up happening to somebody. But for that to come out and to go to TMZ is just tragic, man. But I've also learned over time, we around the same age, we going to be 33 in December. I understand there's a lot of things that people do crazy out here, very shocking stuff. So what I mean that is they literally do anything they need by trying to get some type of money. So soon as at this point, once you hear some type of news and TMZ has not been involved yet, they will find a way to get involved. The whole thing with the Ime Udoka. When we heard about that situation, although TMZ was not heavily involved too much, now for some reason, they are involved. They're having somebody record somebody's relationship, a video. Now they post that. We hear about Tom Brady's situation. Now TMZ is the type of that. So it's these things are happening, and they're finding a way to be involved, and it's not helping by what some of these people, sending out this information. So for that video to get out is tragic, man.
To answer your question about the how people find where celebrities at and stuff like that, it's not. From what I can tell and stuff I've watched in the past, is it depends. Some celebrities leak their own stuff out. Like the Kardashians, for example, they're real good. Always trying to get out in the press and stuff like that. All that good stuff. So they're real good about like, hey, so and so's Kim's gonna be at this taco stand, you know, with the butt cheeks out. I don't know, just go, everybody be down there. I also watched one documentary one time. It's like these paparazzi people kind of communicate with each other and all this stuff, and they'll be at, you know, wherever restaurant these folks are at, club and all that stuff. They just be there. Airport, all that stuff. You know, they just, you know, they'll just be there. But, you know, to this regard, this leak though, whoever he or she that leaked this, they really didn't hesitate to sell this video. Now, how much they got, I don't know. Me, you know, if I was in that situation, I couldn't do it because, you know, if my dream is to work in the NBA, I'm not trying to, you know, piss that away. And I know the rent is high in California. Terry Rodriguez can testify to that. And thank you for tuning in, Terry. But anyways, I know the rent is high in California. But it's not worth it trying to, if they find out who it was, it's not worth it to get blackballed around the league. Maybe that person don't care. You know, maybe they don't care. But I just kind of find it hard that, you know, that they will do this and all that stuff. And then hell, one more angle to look at this. I mean, who to say the organization didn't want to do it to themselves? Maybe they got tired of Draymond talking and stuff like that. You know, him trying to pronounce himself in the new media and all that good stuff. Maybe they kind of want to knock him down a few pegs. I don't know. It's like a lot of angles we could look at this. And, you know, Draymond's going to step away from the team for a little bit. You know, we'll see how that works out for now. I don't think it's a big deal. I think, in a sense, depending on how long he's out, I look at this basketball-wise. It'll get those other young guys some time. The names I just spelled out, it should give those guys some time to get some more experience. Because it's going to be a fight this year.
Big time. I agree with you there. They went and drafted Patrick Baldwin too, right?
Yeah.
So, you know, this team is pretty much loaded, but they're also that, you know how this team is built. They got the shooters, and then they got the big guys that can be shooters. So, like you said, you get them other guys in, they can play a huge part and get them in that rotation. But, you know, my biggest thing is, where do you go from here? You know, as a team, like, you know, how do Draymond and Jordan Poole move forward from this? You know, especially if you're Jordan Poole, like, you know, we're talking about him getting extended, but what happens when he doesn't get the extension? Like, how is this gonna affect Draymond? So it's a lot of questions, but it's just sad that it had to be, you know, that way. Just because the fact is, this team has high expectations. Clearly, looking at the video, Steph looked like he had no parts of what was going on. He just was in the back trying to get his practice in. So for me, I just felt like I said, it was a very weird situation. But again, they're gonna have to move forward from this.
Yeah.
And that's the biggest question, you know, of them all, is how do they move forward with this? Because now this video is not going anywhere. This video is gonna be around for a long time. So it's gonna be kind of interesting to see what happens with them, with that situation.
Can I tell a quick story real quick?
I'm listening.
All right. We're rounding the clock. This is around 2006, my senior year of high school. Now, this is in the middle of our state championship run. The school is at Bellevue West High School in Bellevue, Nebraska. We're going for a three-peat in basketball. We had won our game to get to the championship game. That following day, the Saturday. Now on the bus ride in Lincoln, that's where they had the championships at. We're going back to Bellevue. And in the middle of that bus ride, two of our players got into a tussle in the back of the bus. And it was like, I pulled them off. I was like, dog, yeah, what y'all doing? We got a game tomorrow. And y'all fighting. What is this? And it's like, that ride back to Bellevue and stuff like that is like, damn, we got a chance to win a third straight time. We won our game. We're playing Omaha Central next game. Why are we doing this? And, I don't know, it was like a bad omen or something like that, but we lost that championship game in overtime. But sometimes it's like little things like that at the wrong times can kind of derail your team. And also, it didn't help. Also, one of our assistant coaches, his dad, on the ride back, his dad got into a car accident and died instantly in that car accident. And that didn't help things at all with the mood and stuff like that. So, granted, for them, it happened at the beginning of the season during training camp. And maybe you can mend fences and move on. For us, silly squabbles like that. And yes, we're, kids in high school and all that stuff. But still, you focus trying to win a championship. And that's the goal. Trying to three-peat and stuff like that. And put our stamp as like one of the best schools out there. Not only in the state, but in the nation. Trying to repeat after that previous year, only losing one game. Being ranked in the nation, all that stuff. And we're doing this stupid shit. This is dumb. And then fast forward to today, we're talking about Draymond. This is grown man stuff. Y'all, the Warriors are on an unprecedented run, man. Don't rock the boat unless you really have to. Kevin Durant's gone, and y'all still won another championship. Kevin Durant made things a whole easier. Then y'all come back after a couple of years and won another one. It's like with Draymond sometimes you got to sit back and smell the roses. And sometimes he don't get that. At times. So, like I said, I don't get it. I know guys talk about money and stuff like that during practice, talk about other things in practice. But this is a situation that shouldn't got this far. Like I said, the video leak didn't help things. And that punch was damn strong. But Draymond cannot do this. Especially with how low the West is. You can't do this. Cannot. I'll let you have the last word.
That is a situation where, like I said, we don't know how do we move forward from this. Now people get in little fights all the time, little arguments, little debates. That's gonna happen. Most of people are gonna have these little different things that are gonna make a big difference. And for me, it's just the fact that knowing that you had a situation where your guys are teammates, you're probably in a tougher season, knowing the fact that people are going to be coming for you, just one title. You have the opportunity to win another one. Like you said, you just won one without having to rank, proving that you don't really need them. So now the chemistry looks pretty good. Klay Thompson is coming back. Now all of a sudden, you got guys over here throwing blows at each other. Draymond taking this thought process.
Yep.
But for me, I just didn't like, like I said, how do you bounce back from that? As the quote says, you forgive but never forget. And this is something that will never be forgotten. And even if Jordan Poole try to forget it, it's gonna be all on social media anyway. The whole video. So, he can't have no debates or arguments with nobody at this point. But they're going to keep bringing that shit up. Well, you argue with me about something bad at me, but you didn't do like that when Draymond came. You know what I'm saying? So, this is something that Jordan Poole is going to have to live with for a while. So, like I said, the bottom line is they got to figure out how to move on from this because that is something that is huge. And many people are not going to, get over that. But again, they do have Steph there, Clay, Steve Kerr, so hopefully they can, kind of mend things with that. But hell, if I'm Jordan Poole, man, I'm gonna have to whoop your ass a couple times before I get over.
Yeah, and put a ball on this. Bobby Portis broke Nikolai Miric's jaw years ago when they playing with each other for the Bulls. And this, if y'all don't remember, when Miricic came back, I think the Bulls had won a game, and Portis and Miricic was on the floor, and Portis was sitting there hugging him and stuff like that. And you think to yourself, like, damn, you broke your teammate's jaw in the locker room not too long ago, and he missed some time. And you hugging him like it's all cool. Just weird behavior right there by Bobby Portis. And Miricic eventually got traded to the Pelicans and all that stuff. But it's just weird behavior by him. That you punch your teammate's jaw and y'all celebrating buddy. I'll just be pushing y'all, looking at you sideways for the rest of my life. But Miricic is back in Spain and all that stuff, so it is what it is. D-Lock, let's get rolling on the Southwest Division. I'll let you go first. 5-2-1. Who you got?
So for me, I'm gonna get it started. This division is gonna be a pretty tough one. I think at the bottom is kind of. Usually we do divisions. It's hard to get the teams at the top, but this one kind of hard to put who's gonna think be the worst. But for me, I got the San Antonio Spurs at the bottom. I think they're in rebuild mode. I'm not expecting too much from them. I'm thinking right now that this is a team that we're going to lean heavily on Kendall Johnson. I think Devin Vassell will play a huge part as well. DeJounte Murray's not there anymore. So I see Trey Jones getting a good chance to show what kind of player he can be. They can possibly be tanking at this point. Now, get a number one overall pick in the NBA is not the same as getting a number one overall pick in the NFL. You can't just go 0-17 or 4-70 or 4-78 and just know for a fact you get number one pick. Like, it doesn't happen like that. So I think this team is going to put up a fight sometime. I look into some games, of course, want to win. But I think they are in that rebuild stage. So I think they're going to be pretty good moving forward. Maybe in a couple. They're very young, but depending on what they draft, I think it's going to play a huge part. They got a bunch of young pieces there. Blake Wesley, Josh Primo, Josh Richardson is there, but I think he'll probably be traded during mid-season sometime. And Devin Vassell, I think, will play a huge part. Shot Doug McDermott. So I got them starting out at 5. 4. I got Houston Rockets. This team is kind of in that phase of rebuilding mode. I like what Kevin Porter can do for them. Kevin Porter Jr. Jalen Green is a hell of a piece. We've seen him draft recently. We'll see what Jabari Smith can be. I think he's going to be a great pickup as well. And Alfred Sengun, I think is a solid piece as well. But what I want to see from this team a lot more, I want to see Kenyon Martin Jr. It seems as if right now, last year, past couple of years, or when he's been there, we don't see him really get in the game that often. But when he do get in, he's a spark. So I would love to see him get a lot of run and see what he can be. Maybe he could be part of that young group that they grow with. But right now, Eric Gordon is, the vet on the team. More likely as a possibility, he's probably going to get traded. But I want to see what Jalen Green and Kevin Porter do with this young group. Jabari Smith as well. And Sengun. I think that's going to be your 4 for years if you do it correctly. Jason Tate is a good piece as well. But I just feel like them in that rebuilding mode. I want to see Jabari Smith possibly running for Rookie of the Year. I think him and Paulo is going to be going back at it, back and forth. But this team is not going to make that huge jump just yet. I think they're going to be pretty solid, but to have that huge push is not going to happen right at this moment. So I got them at 4. At 3, I got New Orleans Pelicans.
Yeah.
C.J. McCollum is a hell of a player. Brandon Ingram is a hell of a player. I think Herbert Jones is going to be a hell of a player. Jonas Valanciunas, we know what he is. We know what the biggest question is. We talked about it a little bit before we started. The question is, what happened with Zion? How many minutes? What does he look like? Can he stay healthy? Can he get a good amount of work with the Pelicans? I'm looking at some of these preseason games. Although it's preseason, he's not even staying in the game that long with some of these minutes. So that's my biggest question with these Pelicans. I like what C.J. McCollum is. What he can bring to the table. I think B.I. is just growing into this very good player after leaving L.A. Jose Alvarado is a solid defender off the bench. Dyson Daniels has been playing pretty good with them, so it's going to be interesting to see if he can get in the rotation. We know Larry Nance is playing pretty good, and Jackson Hayes is a good backup, is a good center in rotation. But the biggest piece of question is Zion. With so much high expectations from this guy, we want to see him live up those expectations. If he can, I think this team can be a push to make the playoffs, not just to play in. And it's because of if he can bring that spark that is expected, C.J. McCollum and B.I. are going to get whatever the hell they want. So, but that's the question around this team: is what does Zion do? If he can do something, I think this team can be a playoff contender. Right now, I got them at 3 in this division. At 2, I got the Memphis Grizzlies. Ja Morant is, honestly, I think Ja Morant has made one of the biggest improvements, the past couple of years that I've seen. Kind of want to see that in Zion, if possible. But this team is loaded. They're young. Remember I told you last year when we talked about them, I didn't really like them last year because I thought they were young, still trying to grow. I didn't trust them. I think a year under their belt, I think they play a hell of a lot better. Did lose a few pieces. A couple lost guard, but Tyus Jones is still there. Please tell me Dylan Brooks can be healthy and have a better season than last year. He was so inconsistent last year. So I expect him to play better. Zaire Williams is going to be a big piece for them. But Steven Adams is that defender that they need down low. Now, he doesn't do too much on the offensive side. But he does play a pretty good defense. He's also an assist man. But he's going to be a huge piece for them. Them losing Kyle Anderson, I think, is going to hurt on the defensive side. I think that is one of the glues that they need. And I expect Dylan Brooks to step up to play more defense to help them in that role. Desmond Bain also is going to help Ja Morant out. I think he's going to be a huge piece as well. So I think this team is going to be one of the better teams in the West. They're still going to contend in the West big time. Definitely make the playoffs for sure. It's just how far they go. Can Ja Morant take them that far? I think they're going to lose a little bit defense just because of losing Kyle Anderson. So I have them at 2. And number 1, the Dallas Mavericks. Now we know who the guy is on this team. Luka. Him alone puts this team at number 1 for me. But what makes me have them at for sure number 1, and I kind of had questions about what Jason Kidd's plan was with it with Christian Wood. I didn't really too much like that idea at first. But the more that I think about Christian Wood playing the 6-man role, I think I kind of like that. Kind of seen I did a preseason game a couple of days ago. I think I seen a second one against the Magic, and Christian Wood was just getting anything he wanted. Now, granted, I mean, it makes a lot of sense. Think about it. I mean, you're going to let Luka do a lot of his damage with a Finney Smith, with a JaVale McGee, with that first group. You know, Luka's going to get you a lead. He's going to score a lot of points, do what he needs to. You got Tim Hardaway. And then when he needs his break, you're going to have Spencer Dinwiddie and Christian Wood come out here to continue that damage. I like where they're going with this. Now, the biggest thing that's going to affect this team is health. You're going to need JaVale McGee to stay healthy. Dorian Finney-Smith, Christian Wood. If these guys down low can stay pretty healthy, Tim Hardaway, I think they're going to be pretty solid. But these are the pieces these pieces need to do a lot for them. But at first, you know, we're hearing the pickup of Christian Wood. You're expecting him to start with Luka, but it makes sense as to why not start him. So, like I said, I think this team is going to be one to be effective. You know, they last year in the playoffs, the problem was their bigs weren't doing anything. So going to get Christian Wood, I think, is going to play a huge part. They relied so much on Luka. You know, we didn't see much from anybody else. But now they can give Luka that break, and that offense can still roll. So I expect the Dallas Mavericks to be in a lot of high-scoring games. So for those of you that do a lot of betting, the over-under, you might want to bet a lot of under on the Mavericks games. But I definitely have them at number 1. So, again, I have Spurs at 5, Houston at 4, New Orleans at 3, Memphis at 2, with the Mavericks at the top.
All right, I go through mine real quick. 5, I got the Rockets. I got a starting lineup of Jalen Green, Porter, Jason Tate, Jabari Smith, and Derek Favors. Now, that 5 spot can be changed to, you know, Fernando, who I've seen in a few starting lines for them. I think the main thing for them is, like, can Jabari Smith and Jalen Green show they can be the future for the franchise? You know, when do they sell high on Eric Gordon? If they do at all. So that'll be a real interesting piece right there for them. And like some of these teams, like the Lakers, for example, who really can't tank to get a good draft position, can Eric Gordon pop up, you know, on their radar, and can Houston get a first round pick for him or whatever? So that'd be something to look out for. But the main thing is for Smith and Jalen Green development for this team's future. Number 4, the San Antonio Spurs. It's hard to say which way they're going. I got a lineup of Primo, Richardson, Keldon Johnson, Collins, and Patel. I don't know where they're going with this squad. Now, they could be taken for the Frenchman that was just over here for the past couple days. His name escapes me at the moment, but you could be on tank mode for him, or Scoot Henderson, you know, to possibly your future of your franchise. But I just don't know where this team is going, to be honest with you. They got a lot of draft capital from the Hawks, so that's a good sign right there. You know, they showing for a rebuild. I mean, Murray's a fine player, but you had him on your organization for years, and and it's really never turned a corner with them there to do anything with. So if you're going to tank, just go ahead and tank. Number 3, the New Orleans Pelicans. Health. Not just with Zion, but with McCollum and Ingram as well. If those 3 guys stay healthy, hey, you're talking about top 16 in the West. If not, they'll be on the struggle bus again, fighting for a playoff spot. Herbert Jones has really come to his own by the end of his rookie year. So much so that I think he's earned a place in this league as a defensive stopper in a sense. So, you got that. The Alvarado guy who came on late as well. I think once Patrick Beverly retires, he'll be slotted into that role around the league. My question is which one of these young wings kind of step up for the Pelicans? Now, Murphy, Marshall, Dyson Daniels, who they drafted in the first round. Who's going to step up there to kind of help with the shooting and whatnot with that squad? So I got the Pelicans there, but big thing is Zion and keeping his health and what they do with that. So I got the Pelicans at 3. 2, I got the Mavericks. Doncic.
Ooh.
Yeah. Mine is go to coaching. I'll get to that in a second. But I got Doncic, Bullock, Dinwiddie, Finney-Smith, and McGee starting off. If you're going to play 5 out, kind of do it right. I know they trying to do it with Dwight Powell and stuff like that, but if you're going to play 5 out like that or 4 out, at least have a big man inside that can do some things. With McGee, he's good defensively, blocking shots, controlling the paint. And then, at first, like you said, I wasn't a big fan of Wood come off the bench. Because I thought to myself, well, he can still spread the floor on what you want to do offensively. But it's okay. I see it. Maybe you want to just keep the scoring going, all that stuff. Bring Hardaway off the bench with you as well. I saw in one preseason game they saw. I forgot the kid's name. Let me pull it up real quick. Just had it. Where is it at? Come on. Jaden Hardy, who they traded for on draft day, so they had him to start in lineup as well. So they seem like they're real high on that kid as well. So we'll see how things shake out. Seems like Luka has lost some weight and whatnot, trimmed the fat and all that stuff. So we'll see how that helps with his play and etc. I think another key thing, Dinwiddie. I know he's better off the bench and stuff like that, but he got to start off hot if he's going to be a starter. And I think those things get rolling and all that stuff. And some of these guys move without the ball. Don't let Luka dribble and try to do everything himself. I think this team can go a long way. But like I said, it comes down to coaching with Jason Kidd. And can he get the best out of everybody on that squad? I tell you, you're going to run this offense. You seem like you got the players for it. Can you execute with it? Can these guys execute with it and not let Luka do every damn thing? That's a big thing for me. And lastly, I got the Memphis Grizzlies. I got to start our lineup. And it's kind of tough because I don't know who they're going to start with Jaren Jackson being out. But John Morant starts everything off. Then you throw in Dylan Brooks, who in the playoffs had some decent moments and then just had some games that he shot them out the game. And hopefully he can rebound back from that. They did a great job keeping Tyus Jones in the fold. You know, they kept Desmond Bain and shipped off Melton. You know, I think they may start Brandon Clark off in the start of the season. Maybe, maybe not. I know they started Aldama in some of these preseason games, so he may get to start and keep Brandon Clark on the bench. Steven Adams, he does what he does well. He got a contract extension for it. So, that's pretty good for them. Also, keep an eye on, I know they lost, I know you said losing Dentarius Davidson was kind of hurt. But keep an eye on, I don't know if he's going to be on the squad for most of the year or not. He could be playing G League. But keep an eye on Kenny Lofton Jr. A guy who probably should be playing on the NFL, blocking for the Bengals right now. But this guy can move. This guy can play. Rookie from Louisiana Tech. A 6'7", 6'8" forward. Can real move for his size and whatnot. And the thing that always kind of people say about Kyle Anderson, he moves in slow motion and stuff like that. This guy here, he's the opposite of that. And he can shoot and do all that stuff. And handle the ball. So keep an eye on him as a potential replacement. And along with Zaire Williams as well. I like the young depth on this squad. A lot of, good parts right there on this stuff. They drafted really well. And it seemed like they are ahead of schedule. It seemed like they had a schedule for some of these young guys. But I think one thing for them, can Jaren Jackson stay healthy? And he can stay healthy, I think they'll go along for this squad. But if he's having issues with his knees and stuff like that, you may want to try and sell him off. And I'm kind of surprised they didn't sell him off to get Kevin Durant. That's just me. Maybe Durant balked at that, but this season's gonna be real telling if he's injured a lot, and he come back for injury, and then go out for another injury. It'd be interesting to see if they keep him in the long term. So, those are my 5. I got Houston 5, San Antonio 4, New Orleans 3, Dallas 2, Memphis 1. What you think about that?
I like it. I think that's a good setup. I think the only one that had me was Dallas and Memphis. But then again, I agree with just a little bit, just because you got to make sure that Jason Kidd does right with Christian Wood and Luka. Like I said, even though it's preseason, I see what he's getting to work with Christian Wood off the bench. I think that's going to do wonders for them. I just feel like now you got, like you said, you got to put it into play. Like I said, I think the Dallas Mavericks are going to be in high-scoring games. They're going to be in a hell of a lot of high-scoring games. And going to grab a Christian Wood and you having that offense continue to work when Luka is off the court is what you need. Because we seen it last year. When Luka was off the court, this team was lost. Dinwiddie would still do what he do, but, there was times when both of them were off the court, and it was like, okay, what the hell are you doing, Dallas? Let the team go on a 14-3 run or 15-2 run or something like that. And now you go grab a Christian Wood. I think that's going to play big pieces. Now, JaVale McGee, we know, grabs boards a lot as well. So he's going to play that big piece as well for them. But, again, I think that between Dallas and Memphis is going to be pretty tight. Because both of those teams, they definitely have a lot that they can do moving forward. So, again, we did see, I think Dallas beat Phoenix last year in the playoffs. So, I think moving forward, I think they're going to play a bigger impact. But, again, they gotta go. They gotta go face the Warriors, obviously. And the Lakers, as we speak right now, you talk about health. Hell, if AG can stay healthy, it looked pretty solid as well. But we'll get to those teams later. But again, I think Dallas and Memphis are. I think we both agree they're both at the top of this division. And it's gonna be tight to see who comes out top, especially when they play each other.
Yep. So that's our thoughts right there for the Southwest Division tonight, ladies and gentlemen. I know a lot of that time devoted to Draymond, being Draymond, but, it's a big significant thing for the reigning champs. But this has been our show tonight, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for tuning in with us. Do check out iSportsRadio.com. D-Lock, how can people find you on social media?
You can find me at Black-813. Black, the word dash, Twitter and Instagram. There's no
Please do follow the show on Fast Break as Fast Break IESR. That's Fast Break IESR. Also, do, like I said, follow iSportsRadio.com for all the latest show news, show times, and all that. And check out the gift shop as well. We're doing big things here for the network, so do please, give us a shot. If you think we, do well at our job, please do a solid and support us on Patreon. All right, please do that for us here at iSports Radio. You can follow me on Twitter also at Spawn4288. That's Spawn4288. Also, I do another show on the side called The Brooks Process. Follow me on Instagram, Facebook. I do post a lot of content on there, so please do give me a follow there. But until next time, ladies and gentlemen, we'll talk to y'all later. I think our next division is possibly the Central, so we will talk about them. So until then, next time, ladies and gentlemen, we'll talk to y'all later. Peace.